Okay, so we have these little boxes on the forms at all of our well checks, and probably about 30 to 50% of the time at either the 15-month visit or the 18-month visit, the parent writes down biting. And typically it goes that their child is biting or their child is being bit either at daycare or at home, and they're either biting mom and dad or they're biting their friends at school, and the parents are really worried because they're getting, judged that your child is the biter. And what I want to reassure you of is that biting is okay and it's normal. Children are not able to express their feelings or communicate when they're frustrated or upset, and so biting is an obvious solution that gets a lot of attention quickly. But it's okay to be a biter because children must learn what's acceptable in society, and so they do things to test those boundaries. They bite, they hit, they scream, and the way that we respond to them shows whether or not that's an okay thing to do as part of being a member of society. So if we bite and we get a lot of attention and everyone runs over, biting's pretty cool. I'm going to keep biting. Then over time we learn that, well, biting is not okay. I'm getting punished, I'm getting in trouble, I'm getting things taken away from me because I bite, so that must not be an appropriate thing for me to do in society, and so I'm going to find a different way to express myself. If I'm never exposed to biting, if no one ever bites me, if I never bite and I'm never told that, then I don't realize that biting isn't okay. And maybe in first grade, somebody takes my pudding snack at lunch and I've never learned that biting isn't okay, so I bite that kid. And a first grader biting is very different than a 2-year-old or 1-year-old biting. And so it's okay to bite because we have to learn through experiences, through positive and negative experiences, what is appropriate within society, where those boundaries are, and how to play within those boundaries and find different ways to express ourselves if we first choose one that's not okay. So I think biting is okay. I think it's part of appropriate development. If your kid is the biter, I wouldn't probably tell the kid that got bit's parents, you're welcome for teaching your child that biting's not okay. I wouldn't go that far. But biting is okay. Biting is an acceptable way to learn those boundaries that we live in within society and that everyone has to figure out over time and through experience, positive and negative. The best thing to do if you are dealing with biting is if your child bites you, as a parent, you put them down, you say no bite, you make as little of a fuss about it as possible. They realize, gosh, before this got me a lot of attention from mom and dad because I would bite and then there would be screaming and hollering and talking and loud voices and lots of attention, and so biting's great. I get lots of attention, which is what I want. Now, if instead you just say no bite, you set them down on the ground, you withdraw your attention from them for a little bit of time, they realize, gosh, I bit, then I lost my mom and dad's attention. And maybe I should find a different way to get their attention. And then they move on from that. Biting passes so quickly. I've never had parents come back for a second visit, when they got to the next well visit where the kid was still biting. It always resolves within a couple weeks or a couple months. If your child is biting at school or at daycare, the best thing that the teacher can do is make as little fuss over it as possible, withdraw attention, make sure that the child understands you bit this child, you lose attention, we don't make a big deal out of it, everybody bites, everybody gets bit, and we just move on from there. If you do that, you'll have no trouble, biting will pass quickly, and you can move on to the next thing that you have to teach your child. This is the societal expectations, and these are the rules that we have to play with.